Radio. Shout it.
To the next topic of discussion in Atlanta, we got a hot topic here, Wick. I got tagged in an Instagram post from the Critics of Culture, and it was talking about how everybody felt about what Young Thug had to say about Andre 3000 on T.I.'s podcast. Now, I watched the podcast and I saw what Thugger had to say. And to a certain extent, I could feel where he was coming from. I don't feel like Thug really had any malicious intent behind what he was saying. I think he was just really trying to be matter of fact about how he feel. Now, folks got to understand, Thug is a 90s baby.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'm an 80s baby.
Absolutely.
So I understand Cass, Ghetto Mafia, because when y'all boys hit, I was right at that age. That was like the first CDs and stuff that I was buying at that time.
Absolutely.
So at that young, impressionable stage, that's all I had to eat for content.
Mm-hmm.
Thugger's a Gucci baby.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? You're talking to a man that was 2-3 years old when Southern Playalistic came out.
Right. Correct.
By the time you get to Love Below and all that stuff, that man probably only 10 years old.
Correct.
So you can't expect him to really understand exactly what that meant. But also, I'll bring it back to me. That's why when I got on the radio, I made it my point to go and get the people that I listened to growing up to introduce them to the younger generation that was younger than me so they can understand exactly what it took to make a Beehive, because based off of the music that I chose to listen to, I knew that the younger generation would be able to relate to it, but I also knew that there was no real bridge or gap for them to get that content unless I provided it for them.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, you got a whole generation of folks. Now, I'm just a one-man Taliban doing this.
Right.
So it wasn't like it was something that everybody was doing. It wasn't no drink champs and all of this stuff going on when I first started bringing the OGs in.
Right.
I was just doing this trying to actually move the culture forward. So with that being said, you got younger artists that don't know. Now, also, we can't give Thugger 100% pass because Cass done went diamond. Mm-hmm. We all know with Andre and Big Boy and, the Dungeon mean to the culture.
Correct.
So it's like, now, Thug, you know better than that. But then what really touched me is when Thug said, hey, man, I got a song with Elton John.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Atlanta.
Right.
I'm reaching out to my Atlanta OG for some love, and he's sending me to his receptionist.
Right. Right.
That's, that Thug right now is top 5 in this generation right now.
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
now, first of all, you got y'all generation, Crunk era,
Mm-hmm.
Snap era, Trap, and all of that stuff. We got like about a good 5 different generations of music between the time that they came out and what's going on now.
True.
So for him to reach all the way back there and say, hey, man, let's do some music together, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But then with Dre, I feel his pain to a certain extent too, because what I get off of Dre, I don't know him, ain't never met him. But what I get off of him is, it's one of those situations to where he does what the fuck he wants to do. And ain't nobody about to make him do nothing that he don't want to do. So if he ain't feeling it, he ain't gonna do it. And as a man, you got to respect the way a man decides to move around. But for the sake of the city, you see what I'm saying? If you got a young Beehive coming up and he's reaching out to Ghetto Mafia saying, hey man, Wick, come do my show. I respect your music. I got this younger fan base. I grew up listening to your music. Would you come in here and kick it with me? And then you say, nigga, talk to my receptionist. And I'm like, this is why we always hating on the old folks. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's where the whole little split comes from. Because when you reach out and try to show the olive branch, then you get told, you know what, I'll fuck with you later, little homie. Then it's like, come on, man, ain't nobody got time for that.
I felt kind of like you felt on both sides of it.
Yeah.
One day I was looking at television with my son, and we were looking at R. Kelly video.
Yeah.
R. Kelly had a guy on there named Mr. Big.
Yeah.
Now, we all know Mr. Big is who?
Ron Isley. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my son was looking at it, and he was digging it. He was a little boy at the time. He's 19 now, and I never forget this. I said, he was digging the song and stuff, and he might have been 9 or 10. Or
Yeah.
I said, so you like Ron Isley? You like the Isley brother? It made me feel good because my mother them grew up on that, and I listened to it
Exactly.
And so he was like, the Isley brothers. Who the hell is that? This is Mr. Big.
Yeah.
He never knew him as Ron Isley.
Damn.
He didn't know who the Isley brothers was.
Damn.
He only knew him as Mr. Big. This is Mr. Big. This is a brand new artist.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now with Thug, you can't use that excuse. My son wasn't in the industry or rapping and supposed to know his history or anything, but you are Thug.
Yeah.
So therefore, you just can't be, and especially coming from Atlanta, that dismissive of Andre 3000, Big Boy, and the Dungeon Family. Point blank. Period. Now, but let me say this. These young rappers. If I got mad about how dismissive they was, it ain't even Thug generation. The generation came after me with Tip and them that's been kind of that's been dismissive with a lot of different things. And T.I. is sitting there and he's trying to tell him, hey, he's on our team. Whoa. You understand what I'm saying? But my thing would be, each generation has done that to the one before him. And nobody's looking at that angle of it. That's why I told you I call it black on black rhyme. Not black on black crime, black on black rhyme. So he's only doing what y'all did, the ones before you, after you. That's all he's done. See, I've always prided myself on, and when I get on here, I'm gonna talk about MC Breed. I'm gonna talk about Run DMC. I'm gonna talk about Slick Rick. That's what I was listening to.
But then I'm gonna say this. So everybody knows Thugger for the wild dress and the charismatic flow and stuff like that. But Thugger had on an outfit that said, I want to be like Andre Badu, paying that homage to where he got that style from.
Correct.
In your case, Wick, I could cut on some music and hear your style, but don't hear the homage to come along with it.
Absolutely, and that's the thing right now. Actually, I get people cussing me out right now to this day. Wick, you just hating. You just this that you want Thug to pay homage to Andre 3000, but it's a problem playing homage to Ghetto Mafia with certain artists, and the artists who I'm talking to. You understand what I'm saying? The same ones that's trying to check him. That's a problem for you to say, you know what? A lot of the stuff that I got, a lot of my game I got from Ghetto Mafia. If it wasn't for them, y'all might not have this version of me. Don't tell them what type of music I be doing. But you want to sit down there and chastise a young man that's doing the same exact thing that you did. Mm-hmm. So what you should do is you should go back and reevaluate yourself. Mm-hmm. Check yourself in the mirror. And if we do the right thing, if we had done the right thing, then the kids will have done the right thing. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I would never, ever sit up here and the artists, the great artists that have gone before me, be as dismissive to them. The LL Cool J's, the Snoop Doggy Dogg.
But see, this is my point though, Wick. I don't know if he was being dismissive to him. I think he's saying that I reached out to him and he dismissed me.
He said that, but at first it sounded dismissive. It sounded like he backtracked to me. It sounded like he backtracked because Tip put pressure on him. Tip was kind of coaxing. When you get in there and on first 48 and 12, you saying, I don't know. I didn't do it. I went there. I didn't see anything. You saw something now. You tell me you ain't see. So it seemed like to me from listening to it, and maybe I got it wrong, it seemed like to me that he was speaking his truth at first, that he don't really give a fuck. That's what it sounded like to me. But it sounded like Tip put pressure on him and he kind of backtracked. Well, the white one, he's kissing ass. Andre ain't really kissing ass. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, Andre don't supposed to kiss your ass, Thug. Come on, Brad. You're not supposed to kiss your ass. But I just felt like he was under the pressure in that round table with OGs, and that they with their reaction to what he was saying, it threw him into a spiral, he just started saying any damn thing.
I feel like even with the kiss his ass part, I think that was just for lack of a better word when he said that. I think he was really saying that, Elton John is just a lot more friendly or just easier to work with, as far more approachable when it comes to the music than 3 Racks is. And so now I'm not holding nothing against 3 Racks either, but my thing is this. If you got a young thug reaching out to you to do music, and I know you don't like to do music all the time unless you just really feel it.
Right.
You talking about the top 5 rappers of the new generation. Get on the damn track with the nigga, give him 16 and let's keep it moving. And let's keep this Atlanta thing strong. Because that's one of those things that bridges the gap between the young and the old.
If in fact that's what happened, Beehive, I don't know that's what he backtracked into. I would have to get verification from Andre 3000. And if anybody around Andre 3000 in the Dungeon family can confirm that, or in Thugger's camp, that he actually, because I've never known, I don't go over to Thanksgiving dinner with Andre 3000. I haven't been invited over by Big Boy there, but we have history.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I've known Andre 3000 and Big Boy from a distance, from a short distance also, for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I have never ever gotten the perception that Andre 3000 is unapproachable. He came out to my first video shoot that I ever did. They had just dropped. We were nobodies. Came out, kissed the babies, shook hands. I never got, now that was $30 million ago too. so you know what I'm saying? Tip used to be cool. He used to answer all my phone calls $40 million ago. You know what I'm saying? So he could have turned in that way. But I would have to, but for what I know, I would have to see that first. The Andre 3000, I know, the Big Boy, I know, the CeeLos, them that I know, I've never seen that part from them.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
So I would have to get confirmation that Thug reached out to this man and this man turned him down. That would be hard for me to believe that Andre 3000 could be on the phone with his secretary. He's sitting there listening. This Thug, hey man, tell me that sounds fictitious.
Well, I'm gonna take it from a Beehive standpoint, man, because coming up in the game, coming out of Southwest Atlanta, I thought I was going to get a lot of help. I thought this shit was going to be a home field advantage for me, Wick.
Real.
And when I started reaching out, only the real showed up. And I'm going to sit it right there. Only the real showed up for me. So, I mean, when I heard him say it, I was thinking to myself, that boy right there, he telling the truth.
It could be true. And I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you another thing that he said. And I'm going to bring it up to all y'all out there. And you probably didn't catch it. For the ones that don't know who I am, go Google Ghetto Mafia. See who when you're calling me bitch ass niggas and stuff on the post and stuff. Make sure you know who you're talking to. Now I heard Thugger when he said, but you talking about Andre 3000 and stuff, but you don't dress like him, you don't rap like him, you don't do none of that stuff like him.
Yeah.
But you know who he do rap and dress and act just like. But that's another subject. My thing was when he said that right there. That cut deep with me. The young fella, besides him not paying the homage that he should to Andre 3000, everything else he said, I can kind of ride with you on it.
Yeah.
And when he said that right there, that cut deep. And because I tell people this all the time, you sound like this person, you sound like that person, you dress like this person, you dress like that person, you got the content of this person and that person right there. But then when they stick a microphone in front of your face and say who you grew up on, and you Sound like Gangsta Wick, and you turn around and say Houdini. No disrespect to Houdini. The freaks come out at night, but you don't sound like them. And that's what he's kind of saying.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why you pulling for this guy? You don't even rep the people that you got your stuff from.
Well, see, this is the issue though, Wick, and I'm gonna bring it back in again. When you reaching out to the OGs out of admiration, and you don't get that reciprocation, I mean, it's like fuck them. You see what I'm saying? Because it hurts so bad.
Allegedly reached out. Allegedly.
When the nigga said this Thugger put Andre on the phone, that's why Thug kicked it.
He did say
he
that.
He kicked it like that. Like, I'm on the phone trying to get Andre 3 racks, and this nigga got me on the phone with his receptionist.
My head I'm just trying to picture Andre 3000 bougie like that. Here's a man that rode around in a 1990 truck for 20 years, and I forgot we used to pull up on it. And the man had $80 million. It's just, this is the kind of guy that'll come to the mall with no security and sign autographs and shake hands and and listen to your rap in his ear. So, if Thug say that right now and you co-signing it, Beehive, then I'm gonna ride with that. But that's just hard for me to believe that Andre 3000 would be on the phone, be an earshot of this man, and then and be dismissive and not even get on the phone with him or anything. That's crazy. Maybe Thugger called somebody else, man.
Sometimes
they
he might have had the wrong.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he called somebody else that he thought was Andre 3000.
I think this though, man. What I need to see is Andre and Thug get on the song and make that damn magic for the A-Town. I need to see Andre come out of retirement because, see, this is the other thing. I remember hearing Andre saying that I don't want to be no old rapper. Well, after I done seen Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. get back in that goddamn ring and fuck around and box it out, and it still had the same impact that it would have had 20 years ago. Absolutely. It gave somebody some entertainment.
Absolutely.
I feel like Dre is robbing the culture of his gift that God gave him.
Absolutely.
And it's like, hey, man, stop robbing us. I know it's a burden to bear. Right. But the people need you, and then especially in Atlanta. So that's the whole thing. I like to see Atlanta folks work together on real trio terms.
Yeah, but see, Andre, let me tell you something. If you listening, if you sit up there in the house on the hill and you listening, stop listening to trolls on the internet. That's their job to troll you. Stop listening to trolls. And most of the trolls that are sitting up on the internet telling you too old to do something, it ain't the babies. It ain't the kids. It ain't the ones 18, 19. It's niggas your age. The ones that's out there, like I told you, they're busting concrete, that's doing this every morning. They're 50 years old, getting out there and going to work and putting shingles on houses, are trying to tell you that you're too old to rap. Stop listening to them. You're not too old to rap. Point blank, period. Beehive ain't too old to get on the radio. You ain't too old to rap. Stop listening to them. They're just trolls, man. I don't know where that, I'm trying to debunk that mess right there. I get guys on here saying, because I got a little grandma beard, I can't speak on, on subjects that got to do with rap. What the hell is you talking about? Nigga, you sound crazy.
That's ridiculous. I think it's also just a case of we got to deal with people not wanting nobody to do nothing, man.
Correct.
We just got folks out here that don't want to see anybody do nothing that they wish that they could do or that they had the nuts to do. So back to what you were saying about Nate Robinson, you ain't got the nuts to get out there and box. You ain't got the nuts to keep on pursuing your dreams and having a good time and living your life the way you see fit. So now you're going to hate on me for living my life.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? But
if he wanted to go to sleep, Beehive, he has he has the right in America to be able to be put to sleep.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I was reading their comment, and they said, you win some,
you lose some.
Lose some. About 10 comments down, somebody said, damn, you awake?
No, that shit was crazy.
That's mean.
Crazy.
Y'all trolls out there, man, stop it. Nate, I'm just laughing. I'm having fun at your expense, bro. But like I said, I wouldn't have went in there. You're a bigger man than me. On my best day, I might have got knocked out 5 times in that round. So, I ain't going to hate on you, Brad.